Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Shantae back with another episode of Chatting with Shantae. How in the world are y'all doing? As y'all can see, I'm all silked up, okay? And listen, I know it's been forever since you've seen me, but here I go. So this is a whole new little setup, okay? Not really too much. I just took my chair from my table where I usually record, sat it in front of my couch, propped the ring light up, and I thought this would give a more intimate, cozy vibe, okay? Real chill, real relaxed, all right? I got the ring light on like a warm setting to get like that little ambiance, okay? I got me a little candle burning because as y'all can tell from the title and me wearing my silk robe, my little silk dress here, we're gonna be talking about An Evening with Silk Sonic, okay? This amazing album that just has been on repeat since Friday, okay? Well, it's only Saturday, so whatever. It's been on repeat since I heard it, okay? So I know a lot of us are talking about it. I know a lot of us are feeling the vibe and everything. So we're going to talk about it. Now listen, I'm not fancy just yet, so I'm not sure how to insert the clips of the songs, stuff like that. So this is more so a review, not a reaction, because it's been on repeat, you know, over and over. So it's not like a first reaction or whatever, but I do have a few notes here in my notebook just to, you know, give you my thoughts and everything. And I would love for y'all to comment and give me y'all's thoughts about the album too, because listen, I need more. I don't know about anybody else, but I need more. We're going to get into all that in a second. So get your robe, get your candles, get your wine or whatever else you need to relax. Prop your feet up and let's get it. Let's go. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And let's get into it. So I'm gonna just tell y'all right off the bat, I already said it's been on repeat over and over. 10 out of 10, though it's only 9 songs, technically 8 if you don't really include the intro, because it's not really a song. So, but it's still a 10 out of 10 for me, okay? So, Silk Sonic, consisting of Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, a duo that I didn't even know I needed because listen, sorry, I had a message. Listen, I didn't even know that we needed these people, okay? And so many people are like, listen, why didn't we think of this? Like, this makes sense, okay? These two individual artists who have similar styles of music and who have a feel-good vibe with their own artistry, it would make sense for them to collab, but did anyone really think that they would actually do it? I didn't, okay? And to be quite honest with you, of the two, and no disrespect, to Anderson .Paak and his artistry, I wasn't in tune with his music as much as I was or still am with Bruno's. Okay, Bruno's album ran that through. Okay, is it possible to break a digital album? Like, I know if you listen to a physical CD over and over again, it gets scratched up and everything, but can the same thing happen with a digital album? Because listen, when 24 Karat Magic dropped, honey, you would have thought that was the only album left on the planet. Like, I wore that album out. So I guess you could say of the two, I listened to more of Bruno's music. Not to say that I didn't like Anderson .Paak's music. I was just never in tune with it. But honey, after this, okay, what he did that too. Okay, let me listen to that too, because listen, they are amazing. So due to the fact that the album is only 9 songs, it makes it a relatively shorter album compared to other albums, and that's been kind of the trend a little bit, at least, you know, from what I noticed these past couple of years with releases. No one's really putting out 18, 20, 25 songs. I mean, we still have them, but a lot of people are really riding at 9, like 7 to 9, you know, EP type of length albums. And I never thought that I would be one to like that, because listen, I love music, all right? So the more an album can give me, like the more options I can get with an album, because it has so many songs to choose from, the happier I am. So I've never thought I would be one to like shorter song albums, but honey, I found that, at least in my opinion, that the shorter albums typically be the best ones, because it's not full of fluff, it's not full of, you know, just filler songs. Like, they're putting their best work out there and it's like, here you go. So even though I said earlier I need more songs, and I do, I don't know, like, do y'all think we should have gotten more? I know a lot of people were kind of upset because it is so short, and due to the fact that we had already heard 3 of the songs. And I know, at least in my head, I was like, man, if you're gonna only give us 9 songs, you know, you could have saved 1 single for the album, you know, release, and you only gave us 2 singles, but whatever. So how do y'all feel about that? Like, are y'all into shorter albums? Do y'all like a mid-length album? Do y'all like those long albums? Like, how y'all feel? Listen, I can appreciate a long album, but I have noticed that a lot of artists are kind of going that short album route, and typically I find that the shorter albums typically do be the best ones, or they have a lot of great work in them. So boom, the vibe of the album, okay, the vibe. I don't know where it took y'all, But I'm gonna tell y'all where it took me. It took me to 1975 through 1977. I don't know why those specific years, like mid 70s, I don't know why it took me there compared to 72 or 79. It took me to 1975 to 1977. And who wasn't born anywhere near that time? Me. I was born 20 years later, okay? So from what I've seen on movies and television and hearing stories from my grandmother, you know, those are the only images and glimpses and visions of the 70s I've had, okay? But I love the 70s era. Listen, anyone who knows me knows my favorite era of all time is 90s, and that's with anything, music, movies, fashion, everything, okay? I love the 90s, but then after that, I love the 70s. I just love the 70s, and listening to this album just made me feel like I was a 20-something-year-old in the 70s. Never been. And this album really did a good job of painting a picture and taking you to a place that you may not have ever been to, okay? I wasn't in the 70s. I wasn't thought of until 20 years later. But the imagery and the songs and the messages and everything throughout the album, you really felt like you were there. I felt like I was at a skating rink with a big old afro and some bell bottoms. Like, who y'all talking to, okay? And one of the other songs, 777, you couldn't tell me I wasn't in Vegas. Now, mind you, I've been to Vegas before, so, and had I never been to Vegas, of course, seeing pictures and movies and television, of course, but if you've never been to Vegas and never really seen vivid imagery of what it looks like, listen to 777, you will see yourself on the slot machine on the strip. Like, they did a good job, okay? And I love how this album is not so heavy, okay? It does kind of tell a story. It does take you like on a little roller coaster of emotions, like dealing with relationships, kinda, but it's not like the bulk of the album. It's not like all heavy and in your feelings. Like, no, it makes you want to feel good. It makes you want to dance. You cannot listen to this album in a bad mood. Like, you can't. You can start off in a bad mood, but once you get halfway through, you're like, okay, wait, where my bell bottoms at? Where my platforms? We're gonna go dance. Like, it's giving cookout music. It's giving party vibes. It's giving block party. It's giving skate party. It just makes you feel good. And it's so refreshing because, and this isn't to talk about, you know, the music that's out now, the artist that's out now, because listen, you look at my Apple Music, I have a whole bunch of artists out now, you know, on my phone. So this isn't to discredit their artistry, but it's just something refreshing about hearing an album like this that you don't really have to take too seriously. Like, it doesn't make you think about an ex, it doesn't make you think about, you know, current struggles or anything. Like, they just really did a good job of kind of taking your mind off of, you know, the seriousness of the world, and then whatever you have going on in your own personal life. It just makes you want to have fun, and I love it so much, okay? But yeah, so like I said earlier, it took me to the 70s. Okay, I feel like I was in a blaxploitation movie. If you're not familiar with what blaxploitation movies are, think of Pam Grier movies. Okay, so the Foxy Browns, the Coffees, the Sheba Babies, the Superflies, those were in a category called blaxploitation movies, right? It made me feel like I was in one of those movies. Okay, I felt like Pam Grier in the 70s was finna knock on my door like, hey girl. Like, I felt like she was finna come busting through. I felt like the Isley brothers were finna come rolling through like, hey girl. I just knew, okay, the stylistics were about to come through like, hello ma'am. I knew they were about to come through. And again, it just made me, like, from start to finish. And yes, I know a lot of times when we get singles from albums and then, you know, the album comes out, we kind of bypass the singles because we already heard them. No, I wanted to get the full effect of this album. Okay, so yes, I did listen to the singles as well, for one, because the album's already short with the singles, so without it's even shorter. So I wanted to you know, elongate it, I guess, if you want to say. But honey, just to get the full experience, because when Leave the Door Open came out, what was that, March? So like 8 months ago, you know, we kind of got the vibe of what, you know, where they were going. But then Skate came out, I'm like, okay, wait, oh, y'all really trying to go there, huh? And then last week when they dropped Smoking, what? Smoking, well, I forgot the name of the song, child. But yeah, that song, okay, and they really, listen, that song is so funny. That video is hilarious, okay? They're basically talking about some girl who is for the streets, all right, and you know, she got them paying her rent and all that other type of stuff. But the delivery, again, they're talking about, you know, how someone's for the streets and things like that, but they delivered it in such a comedic way. And then the video, honey, that is so funny. That fool said, not to be dramatic, but I wanna die, and stayed on the ground. And then here comes Bruno looking like somebody's auntie, looking like somebody's mad black mama. This bitch got me paying her. I said, Bruno. Like, y'all, when that part came out and I first watched it, like, for the very first time, I'm like, wait, why did it come out so aggressive? This bitch. I said, who are you talking about? That was personal, and I was all the way here for it. But again, the vibe of that. And if you notice, their music videos, you know, from what we've seen lately with these 3 singles, they haven't been anything complicated, meaning they haven't been too techy, like they don't have too many graphics going on. They literally have the band, okay, they have some girls skating around or singing, or they're standing at the microphones. There's not 100 outfit changes, there's no graphics and this and that and the third, and they kind of prove that. And not to say that I don't like the music videos that have like a lot going on, because I do love those, because I'm a visual person, so I love seeing, you know, animations and all that good stuff. But sometimes less is more, and that's with life in general. Sometimes less is more. I mean, you can really just have a simple vibe in a video, you know, you and the band playing and singing, having a few people walking around dancing, having a good time, and it just makes you feel good. Like, not too much is going on, you ain't got to focus on too many things at one time and try to listen to the song. I love it. Okay, now I'm gonna tell y'all my favorite song. All right, I'm gonna tell you what the best song is, even though they're all perfection. I love them, but I'm gonna tell y'all what the best song is, and if you disagree, whatever. But the best song, my favorite song, come on, After Last Night. After, I don't know what they put in that song. First of all, they put some in the whole album, okay? But that song, y'all, I don't know what they sprinkled on that track. But I've been, listen, when it first came out and I heard it, and I listened to it over and over and over, I had to tell myself, okay, girl, you got other songs to listen to. Come on now. So, listened to it over and over, fell asleep listening to it, woke up listening to it, went to work listening to it, was at work listening to it. Like, I think I know the song. I think I know the whole song. Usually take me a few days to learn the lyrics of a song. Honey, put me in the music video. I will sing the lead vocals. I know the song. They did that, okay? And to have Bootsy Collins and Thundercat, Bootsy Collins. I love me some Bootsy Collins, okay? He is such a pioneer in the funk R&B genre. Like, listen, you can't appreciate these new artists if you know, don't know where they came from, or that may not have made sense. But, you know, you really gotta do your homework and research. I mean, there will be no like a lot of these new artists if you don't, you know, give credit to the older artists that came before them and all that good stuff, right? And listen, to have Bootsy Collins like hosting the album and hearing his voice throughout and his commentary was the perfect addition. Perfection. It is so crazy because in the intro he said that he was the one who actually named him Silk Sonic, and I think that's such a cool story. But just to have his, you know, isms in there was amazing. A perfect touch, like amazing. So, and I love this song because it's giving R&B, 70s R&B, but in a classy way. It's not too raunchy, and when you listen to the words, you know exactly what they're talking about. You know, after last night, they're reminiscing about, you know, the night they had with their lover, and, you know, how they made them feel and blah, blah, blah. But they presented it in such a way that it's not tasteless. It's not too much. Like, they're not just putting it all out there. There's no mystery. There's no, you know, imagination. Like, they left your mind wandering. Like, you got the idea and you got the point of what they were talking about, but they left it alone in such a way that you can kind of put your own images in, if that makes any type of sense. I love that song, okay? And the instrumentals. Now, I am someone, when I listen to a album or a song, I know there's people who do it the opposite way. If a song doesn't make me do a little something, like if it's just like real slow, like I really can't get into it. So if the beat or the production or the orchestration of the song doesn't move me, okay? And I ain't gotta be booty popping, but if I don't do a little, then 9 times out of 10 it's gonna be real hard for me to get into the lyrics. So if a song can kind of captivate me a little bit, then I'm more inclined to listen to the whole song. Okay, so if that makes sense. But so when I first hear a song or an album, I listen for the beat and the production of it and how everything sounds. And then if I like it, then I go back and listen to the lyrics to see what they're talking about. And then I go back and hear it all together. And listen, this is an album. You cannot play it just playing through your phone speakers. Get you some headphones. AirPods are cool, okay? AirPods are cool. I have my AirPods. Those are cool. But I would highly suggest, okay, get you some over-the-ear headphones, okay? Just so you can really get the full effect, because I love when I have my headphones on and I'm listening to a song and those melodies or those beats or those whatever, that little ting, that little horn that you might not have heard just initially listening to it. You get those headphones, baby, it takes you to a whole nother world. Like, it amps the song up to a whole nother level. And oh my gosh. And I'm just imagining listening to this in the car. Like, the car speakers, like, booming. Baby, I'm gonna be in the street crying. Oh my goodness. But aside from that, I said all of that to say, after last night, perfection, okay? They did that. So some people kind of felt like the way the vibe of the album went, it should have been a summer release. And I can agree, or I can say I see why they think that, because listen, the vibes of the song, like I said earlier, it took me to a park, it took me to a cookout, it took me to a skating ring, like summer, we outside, let's vibe, let's have a good time. It's cold now, we in the house, okay? So I can see why people think it should have been a summer album, especially with Leave the Door Open coming out in March, like it's setting up for a summer album, So what y'all think? Do y'all think it should have been in the summer, like around when, or shortly after Leave the Door Open came out? Some people said it should have been a winter release. What do y'all think? Listen, I'm just glad we got the album, because initially, wasn't we supposed to get the album like next year, like January, February? So I'm just glad we got the album now, because they was talking about January, February 2022. I'm like, the only way I'll be cool with that is if you drop it on my birthday, January 17th. That'll be the only way I'm cool with it, all right? And don't you know, I was upset that we had to wait all the way until November 12th or 11th or whatever, whenever it dropped. And that day snuck up on me because I was up filming and editing stuff. And I missed the initial drop, because for me, where I'm at, music comes Thursday night at 11 instead of midnight. So it was 1 o'clock. It was already Friday and I had missed it. I'm like, now what in the world? I missed Beyonce's song. I was stressed, okay? But it was all worth it. So how do y'all feel? Do y'all think it should have been a summer release, or are y'all glad we got it now? Y'all think we should have got it next year? How do y'all feel, like with the vibe of the album and listening to it for a few times? How do y'all think, or when do y'all think it should have been released? Okay. And like I said earlier, it was a refreshing sound. Okay, I'm gonna be playing this all year round. Whenever they drop it, I'm gonna play it, okay, all year round. But just, again, really refreshing. Like, it touched on relationship stuff, like the ups and downs. Like, Leave the Door Open was like pursuing and seducing someone, like, and then, smoking out the window. I love that song, okay? And this beat got me paying her rent, paying for trips, her bad kids running around like it's Chuck E. Cheese. So you're going through that part of the relationship, and then we have Put on a Smile, which is amazing. I would say more so like the ballad of the album, but not too slow to where it's like, oh my goodness. And then you hear Bootsy in the beginning, like, okay, tell her how you really feel. Okay, I know you was calling her B or whatever. This B got me paying her rent, but tell her how you really feel. And he's kind of in his feelings, but not in a way that's like, my goodness, you know what I'm saying? And then, honey, baby, we crying, okay, on Put on a Smile, like, oh my gosh, I can relate. And then boom, 777. Okay, where the slot machines at? Forget that. Like, I just love how it goes literally like this, but it's not all over the place. Because you'll get some albums that are like this, and it really feels like, this one here, it was doing this, but it was like, yeah, it flowed really nicely, okay? Blast Off, listen, I don't smoke, I barely drink, and if I do, it's an occasional glass of wine. But that one there just made me want to get a glass of wine, like, yep. Those songs that really just make you want to chill, like chill and relax. Yeah, I like that song. So, period. And lastly, before I wrap this up, okay, again, this wasn't a reaction or anything, just giving my initial or final thoughts about the album, but I listened to an interview, or I watched an interview they did with R&B Now, and they were basically talking about the concept of the album and the creative process and how they came with each song and the story behind each song and everything like that. Listen, I would highly suggest watching that interview, just because their minds are genius, okay? And we already knew that when you listen to their individual. I really hope you cannot hear this car blasting its radio. Oh my gosh. Anyway, sorry. But you can, like, we already knew that they were great musicians and artists, you know, when you listen to their individual catalogs, but together, oh my goodness. And it's like they're so similar, but they're so different, but they're so similar, you know what I'm saying? And it worked really, really well. And listening or watching that interview rather made me really appreciate their artistry individually, collectively, and hearing how they came up with each song and the concept and everything like that. And they kind of said the same thing I said earlier, kind of, you know, keeping it simple, kind of putting you in a headspace or making you feel like you're somewhere. You know, they said they wanted the vibe of the album to feel like you're at a show. So, you know, having Bootsy Collins host the album and, you know, make it feel like you're listening to a live show and things like that. I most definitely got that vibe, as well as, you know, the skating rink, the cookout, and all that good stuff, right? But it just made me respect their artistry, again, individually and collectively on a whole nother level. And you can tell that they have a great chemistry outside of just you know, making songs. Like, you can really tell they respect each other as people, as artists, and amazing. And this is, I'm praying that Silk Sonic, this isn't just a one and done. I need 2 more. If y'all like 2 more, okay? 2 more albums. That's all. Is that too much to ask for? Is it? Okay, I hope it ain't. And what would y'all think about a tour? Like, that would be dope, okay? And I haven't been to an outside event or event since this whole pan pepperoni pizza, aka Panny, aka pandemic, since, you know, last year, okay? The last big event I went to was last year when I went to Texas to go see Auntie Tab, and that's it. I haven't been nowhere, but I would love to go see a Silk Sonic tour. I would love to go. Like, that would be a vibe, because listen, if they have a tour, oh, you got to dress up. Like, you know the memes that's been out, you know, how y'all showing up to the Silk Sonic listening party and they're posting pictures from the 70s and stuff like that. Honey, they go on tour, that most definitely needs to be the attire. I'm talking afros, I'm talking bell bottoms, I'm talking about the crop tied shirt. I'm talking about all that, okay? Well, maybe not platforms, because we might be standing. But, you know, I'm talking, get that whole 70s. Ooh, I'm about to sneeze. Get that whole 70s aesthetic. Oh, snap. Bless me. But anyway, so, yeah, I would most, like a summer tour. Like, bro, imagine. No, like, y'all, for real, imagine a Silk Sonic tour, like, in the, I almost said in the 70s, but in the summer. That would be such a vibe, okay? But I said all this to say, I'm gonna wrap it up so it won't be too long. I love the album, okay? It's amazing. It was refreshing. Just made you want to, you know, feel good and dance and all that good stuff. So if you haven't listened to the album, I would highly suggest listening to it. It's only 36 minutes, so it's okay. But I loved it, and I really appreciate, again, their artistry and coming together and giving us something so amazing that, I mean, I know the word classic gets thrown around pretty loosely and pretty quickly, you know, a lot of the time, but it's giving classic, okay? Now, if you disagree, that's okay. You can tell me why, but be respectful. But it's giving classic at this point. At this point, okay? At this point where I'm sitting right now, at the time of the night that it is, on the day of the week that it is, it's giving classic to me, okay? Who else can make me pull out my silk robe and light a candle and sit in front of this hot ring light? Silk Sonic. What's the fan base called? What we gonna be called? What do they have a name? Sonic Rings. Get it? Cause I just let me cut this off before I start telling corny jokes, child. But thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all on the next video. I love y'all. Bye.